Hello everybody, this is Gregory with how I lost over 100 pounds and have kept it off for 30 plus years, where there should be no hesitance in your weight loss and maintenance. Today we're going to posit the question, how often should you weigh yourself during your weight loss and weight maintenance? Now before we begin, if you need help with weight loss, especially from the psychological point of view, contact me through the Clarity FM link found here in the episode notes because I know what you're going through. Also, check out my website, Naturopathic Earth, has a lot of articles and recipes, my podcast, The Awakened Man, my books, and if you appreciate my content at all, 3 easy steps. Like, sub, notification, and if you really like it, please make a donation via the PayPal link. All right, so this is a pretty common question. How often should you weigh yourself? Now, this is a question that you can present pre-weight loss, because you need to see if you're gaining more weight. Certainly, I think most people would do it during the weight loss and after you've lost the weight to make sure that you're not going back up. Now, you're going to hear different answers on this. So again, this channel is all about my experiences. I'm not a doctor. I don't pretend to be one. I'm not giving you medical advice. I'm just telling you what's worked for me in the past. And I would tell you, and we're just going to focus on weight loss and weight maintenance. I would tell you, there's a lot of delusion. We can delude ourselves very easily that we're not gaining weight. You can say, well, my pants are old and, the dryer shrinks them, da-da-da-da-da. So there is a need to weigh yourself to a certain extent because the human mind is apt to delude itself. But like with all things, it's a question of moderation. So I talk about in the Confessions of an Obese Child series, it's mostly in the last episode how I lost my weight back in 1991, and then the first couple episodes of Reflections of a Weight Loss Warrior, that's what I talk about, my post-weight loss issues and struggles, that after I lost my weight, I would weigh myself every Friday afternoon. And then after I was in the steam room, of course, to get that extra pound biohack, but at least it's consistent. This is the thing. If you're going to weigh yourself, you have to be consistent. It's got to be same day, same time, same routine. So really the best thing to do is probably do it in the morning, how often the frequency is going to be, and not in the afternoon, because by the afternoon you've eaten different things and you haven't worked out, you have worked out, but just be consistent, like you weigh it every time. Like I was doing it every day right after I ran my 5 miles and the steam room every Friday at 5 o'clock or whatever. And then I would go binge eat. If you want more on that, go check out the Reflection series. But I was doing it once a week. I was doing that during the weight loss, and I was doing that weight maintenance for at least the first 3-4 years. And then I stopped. And to be honest, I have not weighed myself in 20 something years. Gregory, how do you, what? The thing is, look, you got to be careful with obsession. You're my obsession, like the old lady song. You have to be careful with that because there are people, men and women, that will weigh themselves every day. They will weigh themselves twice a day. You see it, right? You see it all the time. They'll go on the scale. Oh, I just worked out. I'm going to check myself. Oh no, I've gained 1/4 pound. Oh no, I've lost 1/2 pound. Yay! Oh no, I've gained an 1/8 pound. Oh no, where are the brownies? It's just too much of a mental roller coaster to be doing it every day. But people do it during weight loss. And certainly I would say weight maintenance, because as I talk about in the Reflection series, part of the weight maintenance is you're petrified that you're going to gain the weight back. So a lot of times you're going to be weighing yourself more often because you're petrified and you want to be vigilant of weight gain. Totally understandable. I went through that for years. Like the Flowers for Algernon novel, like I've talked about before. You have this glimpse of what your life can be. You can actually interact with the opposite sex and actually wear regular clothes. You don't want to lose that. Of course you don't. After the hard work that you've done to lose the weight. So on the pendulum, we're oscillating, and you kind of want to be in the middle. And I think one way to oscillate too much is you're weighing yourself too often. So I would tell you the best thing to do during the weight loss and early weight maintenance, and I mean like first couple of years, is to do it once a week and be consistent. Once a week. Just do it once a week, even if you're tempted. And if it helps, don't have a scale in the house. I don't have a scale in the house, but even if I did, I wouldn't be tempted to check it. Now, be consistent once a week. I'm cool with that. Now, you might ask the question, why don't I weigh myself more often? Well, it's the same reason I don't drink alcohol. It's the same reason I don't do drugs. I don't know if I have an addictive personality, but if I open that door to weighing myself, then I might go down that road of weighing myself too often. You could be like, well, Gregory, just weigh yourself once a week. I don't know, I've gone 20 years and not weighing myself at all. And as a whole, it's worked for me because there's no temptation to weigh myself. Now, I do know my weight here and there because I'll go to the doctor. I talk about, I think in Reflections 18, where I mention how I was eating poorly. I think it was Reflection 17, where I was eating poorly and I knew that the calorie in, calorie out, running and then eating all this bad food was, destroying my heart. But I never went to the doctor to get my blood work checked because I went a good 25 years from like 1991 to 2015 never going to the doctor because I never got sick. I never had injuries, so I didn't have to go to the doctor. But from 2015 to now, I think I went a couple times just to get my blood work checked. And, I incidentally saw my weight. But the way I look at it is this way. When you're gaining weight. And so when the clothes don't fit like they should, don't be in denial, don't be deluded. Oh, the clothes shrink, blah, 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 blah. Ask people in your life, especially people that really will give you good, honest love and advice and charity. They'll tell you. Like my ex-wife, I mentioned Reflections where I've had 3 times where I've gained a little weight, and then the second one after my dad died, my wife at the time told me, it's like, you gain weight. So that's something out of charity if it's said the right way, like, oh my God, you gain weight. No, but it'd be that's something better because what's the alternative? You're gaining weight and nobody tells you. It's like the broccoli and the teeth analogy. How's that helping you? It's not. It's not helping you. So have people in your life that will be honest with you and say, hey, you're gaining weight, and then also just be very cognizant and self-aware that, hey, if the clothes are getting tighter, you need to eat better. You need to eat better. I just personally feel like having a scale around is not productive, and it can be very counterproductive. So ultimately, you have to kind of know yourself. Know yourself. And if you are one of those people, and you would already know because maybe you've lost weight in the past and kept it off, or you lost and then gained it back, you kind of know if you're one of those who is on the scale multiple times a day or every day. You can get obsessed with it. Like people go to conspiracy theory Reddit threads or YouTube channel. You can get obsessed with things, and you don't want that because ultimately that's going to bring you a lot of stress where you're weighing yourself, you're weighing the chicken breast, all that. You got to just let go and let God. And I think once a week is fine. Or just kind of just let go completely. And I'm not saying let go and then eat 2 large pizzas every day. Clearly not. You got to change your paradigm, as I talked about in the first episode. Fundamentally change your paradigm. But once you've changed your paradigm and you don't have disordered eating, you really don't need a scale in your house because you'll have people who can tell you, and you can tell by your clothes. And that way you're no longer scale dependent. And therefore you don't really have an ability as much to be obsessed with your weight, because ultimately you don't want to be obsessed with your weight. You don't want to be obsessed with anything in your life, but you don't want to be obsessed with your weight. That's where you want to go. It's like achieving higher level until you hit nirvana. In Eastern philosophy, it's kind of the same thing. Like I don't obsess over my number. I don't obsess about it, but I've been doing this for 30 years. So my advice to you is get rid of the scale. That's my advice to you. And use people in your life to tell you, and check your clothes. That would be my advice to you on this question. Guys, post in the comments. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Hit the notification button. Please share with others. Until next time, take care, God bless, and pray.